Hey guys, welcome to Comic Book Mania, the show where we talk about comic book news, TV show reviews. That rhymed. I don't know why I did.
Comic book news, TV show reviews.
And you guys get it in doses of 3. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's just go on. Let's talk about comic book news, guys.
We're giving you your allowed
dosage.
Yeah, dosage for the week
of comic book news. Why did I go on Snapchat? I should be going notes.
You're an idiot.
Shut up. I'm the one that writes down the news. Okay.
We should have cue cards.
We should have cue cards.
We don't
script this, as you can tell. All right, let's talk about comic book news. Where are you gonna put this week, Dante? We're gonna put comic book news this week.
I don't know.
Put it somewhere.
I already put it somewhere yesterday.
Good. Okay.
Last week.
In Flash and Arrow spin-off shows news, Heatwave has been confirmed to be on it, which is really cool. What?
Heatwave is on it.
Is on it. He's on the case.
Yeah, he's gonna be a villain on the show, so I think that's really interesting.
I like him as a villain. I do like the guy that plays him.
I can't think of his name.
I can't either. Miles Teller says classic Fantastic Four suits will show up in the movie.
I think the movie's still gonna suck.
I don't care at this point. Just give me the movie and I'll see it, and then we'll see what happens. T.J. Miller is Weasel in Deadpool movie. He's a really low-level villain in the comic books.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, he's confirmed to be Weasel. He tweeted out something about being Weasel, and then he confirmed it that week. Jackie Earle Haley, who was in Watchmen as Rorschach.
Yes.
He's rumored to be in the Suicide Squad movie. Ooh. I think it's interesting.
Maybe he'll play Rorschach.
Are they in the same universe? No? Okay.
I don't think so.
Is it? No, Watchmen is a different universe than DC.
I think
so. Jim Parsons, who plays Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory, wants to play the Riddler in a Batman movie.
I think he'd be able to do it as long as he's not an idiot like he normally is.
He's not an idiot. He's one of the smartest men in the show.
I hate him so much.
In sad TMNT news, TMNT
you could just say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I like to shorten it. And I made it longer that way by shortening it. One of the turtles has died, guys. This is my favorite. Is Donatello. Sorry for the spoiler, but he's dead. He died in the comic.
Yeah,
Shredder kills him off, which is
I think it's good for plot.
They kill off one of the turtles
because then maybe the turtles will actually be able to kill Shredder this time.
They've never been able to kill Shredder.
They've killed him.
They've killed Super Shredder, who was Kevin Nash in the second movie.
Super Shredder. You
had Super Shredder and Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice became Super Shredder in that movie. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't.
Yeah, it's a fun fact. Huh. Morena Baccarin, who was Leslie Tompkins in Gotham, is confirmed as Copycat in Deadpool movie.
Yay!
So that was the female lead. I don't know much about Copycat. Do you?
Nope.
Okay, so we're gonna go.
I can probably predict something.
What's her power?
She can copy other people's abilities.
I think her power is she can only copy cats' abilities.
That makes sense. That sounds like something they'd write in a Deadpool comic.
Yep, I hope Deadpool makes a joke about that.
Copycat.
Can you only copy cats?
This is all I can do.
Sophie Turner, who plays in Game of Thrones, is going to be Jean Grey. She's putting her own spin on Jean Grey in X-Men Apocalypse.
I'm hoping this movie will be phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I think it's going to be good. What's his face is still on here? Bryan Singer. I think that's the good one. Not Brett Ratner, who directed X-Men 3.
Brett Ratner.
You like that movie.
That's my favorite movie,
No,
dude.
your favorite one is X2, okay?
Yeah, it is.
Josh Whedon. I said John. Josh Whedon.
Josh.
Says other Marvel characters will appear in Avengers 2. None of that has been confirmed so far.
I think one that we're going to get, it's either going to be in this movie or in Guardians 2.
Okay.
Miss Marvel.
I hope so. But they know they already confirmed...
Or Captain Marvel, not Miss Marvel.
No, she's considered Miss Marvel. It's Captain Marvel.
No, they're two different people.
Oh, are they? I didn't know that. But they already... James Gunn said she will not be in Guardians 2.
Oh, she won't?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't take her out of...
Not Avengers 2, yeah. She's getting her own movie soon, so I would think they would introduce her in one of these movies.
Yeah.
Also, they are casting extras...
For Wakandians.
It's African Americans. We don't know if it's Wakandians. They haven't confirmed
No, it's labeled Wakandians.
Oh, did they confirm it? Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw the article today.
So we're going to be getting a little
Black
Panther in Avengers 2, hopefully. Let's hope. Jeremy Irons, who's playing Alfred in the new Batman Superman movie, says Batman vs. Superman script is amazing. He was in Dungeons and Dragons, so I don't trust his judgment very much. I like Jeremy Irons as an actor. He played Scar in The Lion King.
Did he?
Yes, he was the voice of Scar. So... I don't know. It could be good. It could be bad. Who knows? Miles Teller also says Fantastic Four will have a bunch of superhero elements in it. Well, it should. It's a Fantastic Four. The Thing is a rock monster. It should be good.
No, the Thing is a menace to that fucking movie.
You don't like how he looks at all. I remember we talked about this. Yeah.
like how people were complaining that what's his name's playing the Human Torch? You know the actor.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yes. Yeah. They were complaining, oh, you're making the Human Torch black. That's so far the best thing about this movie.
I think he looks great in the movie so far.
I mean, you can all complain.
I think people have died down from complaining because they've seen how
they've seen the trailer and they're like, okay.
The girl that got to play Sue Summers has no idea what the character's about. She said she hasn't read any of the comics or anything. I don't like that. Miles Teller is pretty. I think he's gonna be great.
I think he'll be like. Him and
Michael B. Jordan will be great in this role. I gotta give the guy that's gonna be playing the Thing credit. I gotta give him a little credit. I don't like what they're doing to Dr. Doom or Von Doom is a hacker.
Victor
whatever.
Von Doom.
We're not gonna talk about it because it breaks my brain heart. It comes out in July, so we'll give you a review of that or August, July or August. Oh, I'm thinking of Ant-Man. Ant-Man comes out in July, and then
wait, that comes out this year?
Yeah, that comes out this year, dude.
Oh,
3 comic book movies in the summer.
Oh God! Ew, and the trailer just. Oh God!
So we will give you that review when it comes out. Robin Lord Taylor, who plays the awesome Penguin in Gotham, wants to appear on Flash. I don't know if he wants to play as Penguin, which would be pretty cool. I don't think he wants to do the Penguin. But what villain do you think he could play? If he plays a villain.
He could play anyone.
They also showed pictures of Emily Kenny as the Bug-Eyed Bandit, and I'm really excited for that. She looks awesome, and I look forward to seeing that. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, wants Adam to fight the entire Justice League. So he says that he may
From Adam and Eve, right?
Yeah, from Adam and Eve. He tweeted out that he may be in the Justice League movie, and he says he wants to fight. I would love that for that to be the villain.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be amazing. Like, and then he becomes an anti-hero after the fight and everything?
I don't want to see him be the main villain in the Justice League movie.
Who do you want to see the main villain?
Because he's going to be the main villain in the Shazam movie.
Yeah, true.
So
you think, but him being like the heavy of one of the villains?
Yeah.
Like,
or even
Brainiac? What if you don't want Brainiac to be in there?
I would like to. I think that would be better for a second movie.
Okay.
Start off the Justice League strong, throw in Darkseid.
I think they should build up to that. They should build up to that.
Are you kidding me?
That's one of their build up. That's their Galactus of their universe. You build up to that.
Don't you mean the Thanos?
Well, you can say Galactus.
Darkseid is the Thanos.
Is it? Okay, yes. Okay. That's even more. Look what they're doing with Thanos. They're building him up to his own.
But DC can't do that.
That's true. They don't got enough time for that. We'll see what happens, but I would love to see him fight the entire Justice League. Could you imagine him fighting Superman and then Batman coming in and beating the shit out of him?
The people's elbow.
Oh my god, it'd be great. And also in Fast and the Furious news, he does a rock bottom to Jason Statham. We're gonna be watching it just for that.
I'm gonna leave after that scene.
Deathbolt to appear in both Arrow and Flash.
Yes.
I thought that could be the crossover, but he's going to be in different episodes. So that'd be pretty cool. Scott Glenn.
Him, he's holding up a binder and the Flash on it. Oh,
okay. Like, different episodes. Scott Glenn, who's working on Daredevil, says Daredevil is probably the most stunt-heavy TV show in history.
Which makes sense, because that's what Daredevil does.
That show's going to be amazing. April 13th cannot come fast enough, seriously. I'm so excited for Daredevil.
I can't wait for May 19th.
Okay. Don't ask. Especially not Glenn Jacobs. Harley Quinn to have different outfits and pet hyenas in Suicide Squad movie. What I think is awesome.
Dude.
The more I hear about this movie, the more I'm pumped up for Suicide Squad. We discussed this. I think it's going to be the best.
What is it? Robbie Marco?
What's her name? Robbie.
I was close.
Margie Robbie.
I told you, I don't know actors and actresses.
You were right. You didn't put the emphasis on go.
Well, I had them the opposite way, too.
Yeah.
It's Margot Robbie.
In sad X-Men news, Jennifer Lawrence is leaving the X-Men franchise after Apocalypse. Oh, sad. She was a good Mystique. I really liked her.
Phenomenal. I went back and watched X2.
Yeah.
Just to watch the original Mystique.
She was good.
Jennifer Lawrence blows her out of the water.
Really? Wow. I think you're the first person who ever said that. I love Jennifer Lawrence. She can do no wrong.
I think Jennifer Lawrence is the perfect Mystique.
She's really good.
Plus, she's really hot.
Yeah. you get to see her naked, blue naked.
Yeah. Just like this.
The tick. Shut up. Dwayne The Rock Johnson says Black Adam has to earn his anti-hero status, which makes me think if he fights the Justice League, that he earns their respect in that movie, and then he joins the Justice League, not as a main part of it, but as a helper.
No, that's why I'm saying they could throw in Darkseid, because it could be revealed that Darkseid was the one that destroyed his planet.
Okay.
And then he's like,
he has to join up with the Justice League. Okay.
And they're like, ooh, yay, 2 Shazam-y people.
I'm so excited for Rock to be in the DC universe. I wish he was in Marvel universe.
Could you imagine The Rock playing Juggernaut?
Oh, no. Not after, what's-his-face played Juggernaut. Let's not remember that, please. God, no. You love that part. I hate that part.
I just think it's hilarious.
God, it's so terrible.
Because you have Juno, she's just like, hey.
I forgot it was hilarious. Hey guys, I'm pregnant. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
It's Peter Rasputin's baby. That's her lover. That's Colossus.
I know. And in final news for Avengers 1 and 2, the Infinity Gauntlets, Russo brothers, who directed Captain America, The Winter Soldier, which was an amazing film, is going to direct both Avengers 1 and 2. So, great directors to direct.
Infinity Gauntlet 1 and 2.
Yeah, so that's going to be amazing. And that's all the news we have for you guys this week.
Well, there is one more thing that you didn't have written down.
Okay.
It just came out, I think, today.
Interrupt me, why don't you?
I did.
Okay, good.
They are starting to cast for... They're testing people for Spider-Man. And,
oh, yeah, I read about that.
Yeah, there was one person, I can't remember his name.
Miles something.
No, it wasn't.
Misa Monone.
Let's go with that. It was Misa Monone.
Monone.
It's from the Jar Jar Binks universe. Misa, what? Spider-Man!
Little thing. J.J. Abrams, if on any chance you are watching the show, do not screw up Star Wars, please. We're waiting. September's can't come
J.J. Abrams, if you're listening, in Star Wars Episode 8, make it revolve.
He's not doing that.
Yes, he is.
He's doing 7.
Oh,
he's leaving.
And then going to 9?
He might. That's news that broke today. He might be coming back for 9, so.
Okay. Well, then in Episode 9, make it all about Jar Jar Binks. Just the origin story. Do it.
So we're going back in time to
No, you know how there is a Star Wars movie that's supposed to be a spin-off?
It's a spin-off the year after.
They haven't said who it is yet.
I think it's going to be a Boba Fett movie.
Jar Jar.
If it's a Jar Jar movie, I've lost
If it's a Jar Jar movie, I will be front line. Just
You'll be the only person to see that movie. Maybe some kids.
Misa, love this movie.
Let's go on to TV show reviews.
Alright, so for those of you that aren't going to keep watching because
which you
don't
usually
like spoilers,
do. A little note before we move on to TV show reviews. I just want to say,
me, why don't you?
I want to say thank you from the bottom of both of our hearts.
Oh, we're at 50.
We're at 50 subscribers. I seriously, it doesn't look like it means a lot, but seriously, to us to have 50 subscribers after doing this,
that means there's 50 stupid people out there
that like to watch us and have subscribed to us. So, like I said, if we get to 100 in June, I have 2 things that I'm gonna do. I will lick the pavement outside Dante's walkway. And I will lick Dante's tire.
Yes, and this will all be recorded.
Yes, of course. They won't believe it or it didn't happen. So, thank you guys so much. It means a lot to us that you guys have subscribed. And hopefully, in the next couple months, we get to 100 and move on from there. Yeah. So, thank you guys. Let's go on to TV show reviews. As always, like this video.
Comment on it.
And subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Later.
Whee! Here I go. Whee!
All right.
Let's talk about The Flash that came back. Finally, it's back.
Yeah.
After, 4 weeks it was
Something
off?
like that. But, this was an episode I very much enjoyed.
I liked it. It just...
But you didn't enjoy it as much as I did.
The first 45 minutes is the most boring...
There is a lot of talking. There's a lot of build-up.
I know it's a lot of build-up, and I love The Flash. I love this show so goddamn much. It's just... I want, everybody was saying, it's the biggest episode of the season. And for 45 minutes, I'm sitting there. I didn't watch it Tuesday night, just to let everybody know. Yeah. I watched it the day after. And this one's telling me, oh, you gotta watch Flash. All will be revealed. And I'm, sitting there. I'm for 45 minutes, I'm like, okay, the Weatherwater brothers comes back. Okay, Joe's getting captured. Fine, let's do that. Iris and Barry are having problems. And they're having problems with Linda and Eddie. And then... shit happens. Joe's being captured by Weather Wizard. Part 2.
Bo.
You say Bo Burnham.
Yeah, Joe got his leg broken, basically. And
I thought he got his leg cut off. I saw that scene. But they did have this really good scene in the police department. When Weather Wizard comes to the police department, and they're having their talk, him and Joe. It's really intense.
And then he goes to throw,
They brought the Wizard wand into this episode. I didn't know.
It's the Wizard's wand.
Yeah, I don't know how they were going to bring it in, and they used it against them. Cisco... in this episode
Cisco developed it.
And he's also he's trying to find out what happened that night with
yeah, well we will get to that.
That comes down to the last 15 minutes of the episode. So he gets captured, Joe. They get to the
no, before that, with the captain.
Oh yeah.
This is huge.
So the captain
basically protects Joe.
And
he's in the hospital now and he may never walk again.
So that
leaves an open position for
I think Joe be captain.
No, it doesn't.
No,
because of what happened at the end.
So that part happened, and then Joe, what's her face? Iris finds out where her dad is. Yeah. She tells, don't tell any cops where I am, and she's like, Barry, go save him!
Well, no, and then Mark Martin grabs the phone, and he's like, she's on his way. Launches it into the ocean. I'm like, come on, dude, that's a really good phone.
So her and Barry go to the
marina.
The marina, and Barry has been trying to avoid her, trying to build his relationship with Linda, and then finally Iris tells him that Barry already told him, but Iris finally tells
that she's
in love with him, and they kiss, and now they're getting together, or so we thought.
Well, a tsunami starts coming from the weather wizard, and the Flash is. Barry goes, I didn't want you to find out this way to Iris.
And he
changes that he's the Flash.
And she's like, oh my god, my boyfriend now is the Flash.
Well, not her boyfriend.
Not anymore.
But, so...
I
want to go back and talk to the Cisco thing.
Oh my god.
So,
this part
Cisco
had me
needed
crying.
the lab to himself, so he told Caitlin to keep Ford. I keep trying to call him Harrison Ford.
It's Harrison Wells.
Harrison Wells. Yeah. So she's out of the coffee and they're talking. Cisco finds out that it's a hologram inside the chamber. It wasn't actually the Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
So he's very confused, and then while
this scene is set up perfectly.
Oh yeah.
Because it was in the trailer, and if any of you saw, where Harrison gets up out of the chair, and you see Caitlin look back. She's like, "What the fuck just happened?" And you see him.
She doesn't see him.
Well, yeah,
get out. But she turns around, and the chair's just there, and Wells is gone. So
and you see him. And Cisco turns. He's like,
Well, no. He says, he's reading he's talking about the dialogue from Reverse Flash, and he goes, and there's nothing, and I'm the opposite. And Wells is behind him. He goes, I'm the Reverse Flash.
And you're like, what are they gonna do? This part's coming up, and I'm like, holy shit!
Is talking, and he's like, who are you actually? And he goes, hello, Cisco. My name is.
Wait, hold on. For everybody out there, I said this on the first episode, and I called it from the beginning. Continue, please.
Harrison Wells comes out, and he goes, hello, Cisco. My name is Eobard Thawne.
And I was right.
For those of you that know who that is, that's
Eddie's
the Reverse
distant
Flash.
relative down the line in the future, and he's been stuck here for 15 years.
Trying to figure out how to get home, and he realized that the Flash is the only way to get home.
This scene is quite possibly my favorite scene in
the
entire series. He's having this talk with Cisco, and Cisco's crying. Like,
he's telling him that he's basically a son to him.
Oh my god!
He doesn't want to have to do this, but he has to. And he starts vibrating his hand as fast as he can. And for those that know the Flash universe, when you vibrate your hand like that with the Flash, Reverse Flash, you can move your hand and any part of your body through anything. So he reaches into his chest and stops his heart.
So at this point, I'm like, wait. Vibe is supposed to be this big thing. Cisco's supposed to become Vibe. But earlier in the episode, we forgot to mention this, Barry is going through the streets, and he sees another Flash. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, is the Reverse Flash following him? Is this what's going on? Yeah. And it leads up to... So Harrison kills Cisco. Barry's on the dock, the marina with...
And he's trying to stop. He calls Caitlin, and Caitlin goes to tell him that Wells is Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's not important at the moment.
Yeah.
I have to stop a tsunami. How do I stop it? And she goes, if you move fast enough, you'll be able to create a wind wall, basically. And it'll stop the tsunami from hurting anyone. So he's running on the beach, back and forth. And you can see that it's straining on him. And he screams. He goes, ah! And then he runs and he teleports
sees
somewhere.
Himself. And you're like, wait, what? They're bringing it in. Holy...
He traveled back in time.
That's what we saw earlier in the episode. He saw himself. So everything that happened... is reversed.
Yes.
Reverse Flash. Get it? And it's all reversed. So, but they showed trailers for next week.
Cisco's still alive.
Yes.
But he did change the
Flash. Iris doesn't know he's Flash.
Yeah. Iris. He knows that Iris loves him, but she doesn't know that he knows.
Yeah.
Caitlin doesn't know anymore.
Yeah.
Cisco doesn't know anymore. But Cisco still has the curiosity.
Yeah, he's still gonna next week.
Joe is still good. The captain's still alive.
Yeah. So that all changes. I said earlier that...
It's basically everything that happened in this episode, they were just like, hey guys!
It was Reverse Flash. For the first 40-45 minutes is like build up to this point. I get it, they had to do it. And I understand that. The last 15 minutes make up for that episode. It's still a great episode. I still love the show. May 13th is coming, and it's going to end, and I'm going to be very sad because that's going to be over. And yeah, so... that was Flash. It was a great episode for the last 15 minutes. Were made up for the entire episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was... let's talk about Eru. So before we begin talking about Arrow, I have to make another point. I watched iZombie. You watched half of it.
I watched half of it. I could not get into it.
I'm not really into it yet. I'll give it a couple more episodes, but we're not going to probably discuss this on the show. He's not going to watch it.
I'm kind of giving up.
If it gets better, I will start talking about it. If anything, when the season ends, I'll just do a big giant recap, and that'll be it. But let's get on to Arrow. So on this week, we had the opposite reaction to it. I really liked this episode. You didn't.
And I thought it was very predictable.
It was very boring.
Yeah. I did not like it, so I will let you take the reins on this one.
I'll talk about it. So at the beginning of the episode...
The only part I really want to talk about is the Lance scene.
Oh my god, so
and
crazy.
The end.
The ending? Okay, I'll get up to that. So the beginning, we end up right where the end of the season left off, where Ra's al Ghul basically tells him he wants to become... Oliver tells Oliver that he wants to become the new Ra's al Ghul. Is foreseeing the prophecy that whoever survives Ra's al Ghul's blade will become the next Ra's al Ghul. He says Ra's... I guess it's both ways.
Well, we've heard in movies that it's Raz.
Yeah, so...
And now they're saying
you could say either way. Well, he calls himself Ra's al Ghul. Well, they all do. They all call him
Ra's al Ghul.
I think Oliver calls him Raz. I think they do.
Yeah, he says Raz. So they use both. I guess it's just...
It's personal
what
preference.
You want to call him. I prefer Raz.
Raz is... I like Raz. Ra's al Ghul sounds really cool, though. I like it both. You go either way. But whatever. So he tells him... Oliver's like, what if I say no? He's like, well, then I'll let you go on good faith. I'll let you, Malcolm, and Diggle go. No consequence, debt-free, everything. So they all leave.
The blood debt's gone.
Everything's gone. So Malcolm's free to go. That's fine. They all go back to Starling City, and Oliver's like telling everybody what to do. He's like, he takes this out of her cage. He's like, you can go. She's like, but my father wouldn't let you go for free. And she's like, he did. Get the fuck out of my house, basically.
Get out of my lair!
And everybody's like, what the hell's going on? Felicity's getting calls from Ray, and she's like, I'm here for you. She basically friend-zoned him in this episode, which I thought was funny.
Well, what she says was, this was your idea.
Yeah. So she's... Yeah, because basically it is.
And Oliver's like, oh, shit, it was.
She's like, later in the episode, she's like, you always told me I'm always happy when you're around in my life. And then Ray calls her, and she's like, I gotta take this. And Oliver's like, no, I lost Felicity. So everybody's dealing with the aftermath of Oliver and them going to see Ra's al Ghul. Detective Lance and Laurel are having problems still after Detective Lance. We'll talk about the scene now. She goes to visit him. She brings him dinner, and he's giving her the cold shoulder.
A peace offering.
Yeah, and he's like, she's like, you always blow up on me eventually, and we forgive each other. Please blow up on me. I deserve it.
Stop here.
Which
Go
one?
back and talk about Murmur.
Oh, okay.
That's important.
Villain of the week. I
think it was a cool concept.
It was a really cool concept. It's just execution-wise wasn't that good.
I think if they made him like a serious villain,
they could have done so much. But I think they're more worried about Raz and hopefully Slade who comes back. Hopefully, I'm still holding on.
Hopefully,
for
Raz hires Slade.
Great, Raz and Slade working together
because that would show.
So they're looking for diamonds. Remember's gang is looking for diamonds in this episode to build diamond-grade bullets that pierce through anyway. They go to the police station. So before that, Laurel and Detective Lance are having a really, really good heart-to-heart. And Detective Lance, she basically goes off on him. She's like, yell at me. We need to get past this. I love you. We'll get past this. And then you can talk about the scene because there's a really good...
He basically just kind of gives her the big F you.
He's like, I can't
How do you expect me to do this when you knew my daughter was gone?
And the acting from Detective Lance in this scene gave me chills. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my god, great. And then the Murmur's gang comes in, they start shooting up the building and everything. And
this is how you know that he's willing to forgive Laurel.
Eventually it's going to happen.
They're hiding, and he's starting to, he's trying to protect her. And she's like, I'm not going to leave you. And he goes, get out of here. You got to get yourself out of here. And it was...
I love you. I'm not going to let anybody hurt you.
Yeah.
And everything. But before this, I forgot to talk about this. Ra's al Ghul tells Oliver when he declines the offer. Well, he didn't decline it yet, but he's thinking about it. He basically tells him that the entire town's going to turn on you. You're going to become a vigilante.
Well, the police will turn on you first. Then
the ones that you love will turn on you. And of course, he loves Detective Lance. He's like a father to him, basically.
Not really.
I think he is.
He's just more of an intel. And he cares for him.
I think he's like the Gordon of this series. If we're going to compare, I think Detective Lance is the Detective Gordon.
How do you mean?
Like, he's the one that helps Batman out a lot. He was kind of like...
Oh, that Gordon.
Yeah, Detective Gordon from Gotham.
I'm thinking of Gotham.
Not that Gotham. I'm talking about any of the other Batman series.
So Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman. That was perfect, Detective Gordon. Raz basically tells him everybody's going to turn on you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's having this... Oliver's going through all this stuff where he's like, should I take up the offer? I'll get more done with an army. And he has this conversation with Raz. He's like... you're called the League of Assassins. You kill people. And he's like, if you were to command them not to kill people, they'll listen. You're Ra's al Ghul. And he's like, oh shit, maybe I can get some more stuff done that way. Okay. And then...
Well, one thing that Ra's said that really, like, hit me was, he goes... Oliver says, you command these people to die. And he goes, no, I don't. I command them. If it's their... They choose to die.
He's like, you command them to kill for you. He's like, no, I command them to die.
That's what it is.
And that was
awesome.
Great quote. I was like, probably quote of the season. So Oliver is dealing with all of this stuff. And
I think Murmur has quote of the season.
He tells Diggle, he reveals to Diggle that he got the offer from Ra's. That's why they let go. Diggle tells Felicity. They have a really nice little scene. Felicity finally convinces him to find out why he does this, because Oliver's like, nothing's been... Everybody got out that we captured. Everybody's turning against me. He gives a couple of Murmur's gang to Detective Lance, and Detective Lance like, fuck you, basically.
He turns on him.
You'll hear it in the...
We're
he's
done.
Like, I need to know some names for the guys, and he's like, you'll hear it in the papers on Monday. I'm like, okay, because he knows that he knew that Sarah died and everything. Mm-hmm. So Murmur's gang goes attack the police station. They get away. Oliver and company come in, and he calls Roy Arsenal in this episode, which I really liked.
Yeah, he was like, Arsenal!
And they take out a couple people, and then they go outside. Murmur gets away again, and Detective Lance is like, what are you waiting for? Thank you to Oliver. And he's like, that's not what I'm here for. Goes back to Felicity. She tells him, you're not going to do it here. And he tells her, no, I'm here because I need to save... Oh, he says really something sweet. He's like, in the police station, I knew that these cops had to get home to their families. Yeah. And that's what reminded me why I'm doing this, which I thought was a great scene from Stephen Amell. And they capture Murmur. I forget, how did they capture him? Do you remember?
They just caught him.
Arrow
was getting the shit beat out of him. Oliver was actually getting the crap beat out of him by Murmur, a guy that can't speak. And
was it Detective Lance that came in and helped him? Okay, yeah. And that's where they end up.
No, they didn't.
And Paul, there's two parts. You can talk about those. I've talked enough this episode.
One thing you missed where Nyssa goes back to Ra's and she says, you offered him the spot and not me.
Yeah.
And she gets very upset and she goes, you put a cape before your blood or something like that.
And she slices at him and he grabs it.
He grabs the blade and he's like, what you gonna do, punk?
He's turning into a really good Ra's al Ghul. Matt Noble plays him. He's starting.
What I liked about this, so then Nyssa storms out and she basically leaves the league, is what she says. And he's got this cut on his hand and he goes over to this pool, dips his hand in,
and we've been calling it for weeks. It's been the Lazarus Pit,
and his wound is gone.
And he tells Oliver. He tells Oliver about this. He's like, "I've lived for so long that the powers of this pool is not working on me anymore."
Yeah.
Which doesn't he do that with Batman in the comic books? He tries to make him. Batman. So they're replacing Batman with Green Arrow.
Yes. So then,
and then the end of the episode.
Well, there's two parts at the end. Where Nyssa comes back and she's talking to Laurel and. She's like, they're basically saying, like, we both loved Sarah. Yeah. You want to go get some dinner?
We're both having daddy issues right now.
So they walk away, and then Nyssa offers to train.
The entire episode, everybody's making fun of
because Laurel can't fight.
Laurel's incompetence. So she's like,
I got this, guys. And
I see you're competent, but you could do better. Yeah. And then she's like, yeah, I'll train you. I have nothing better to do. Yeah. So Nyssa's going to be starting to train Black Canary. So that's going to be awesome. I like that.
And then at the end, we see the rest of Murmur's gang, and they're talking, and then you see...
The Green Arrow.
Arrow, the vigilante, is up there, and he fires at 4 of the 5 members, and the one's still alive, and he jumps down and lands, and he has his hood barely, and you see it's Ra's, and he goes...
Tell everyone you've seen this.
He was like, I let you live, so you can tell everyone.
So basically, they're giving them an identity to the vigilante, because it hasn't been found out yet who
Well, no, it's not that. Well, it's the fact that he's
murdering people again.
Because that's what'll turn the city against him. Which is
really interesting, because...
which I just thought, that's why I didn't... Because I predicted, I knew that was going to happen.
Maceo says to him when he refuses the offer, he's like, it's not an offer at this point, it's a threat. You basically have to become Ra's al Ghul. And they did flashbacks in the episode with Maceo's kid.
Dude, that kid's freaking adorable.
I don't like him. I'm not a big fan. I know he's going to end up dying one of these days.
I hope not.
Because Maceo... I like how they're like, we're going to meet in the botanical gardens, and like he's cheering him up.
Well, no, he's like, oh, the botanical gardens. The botanical gardens.
Yeah.
That's where my parents told me to go if I ever lost them. And he goes there, and of course there's members of, like, the friggin',
I don't know where they're heading with that storyline, the flashbacks. Oh, we forgot the biggest part of the flashbacks. Shadow. She meets Shadow.
My God.
That's what I forgot about.
That's at the end.
So...
Shadow from the first and
so
second
him and
season.
Slade basically fought for goddamn no reason at all.
Which maybe Slade will be a good guy now.
Well, I don't think she's alive in the future. I think she's dead. I think she still ends up dead. Or that might be like a sister or something like that. I don't think it might be.
Well, I know what happens with Shadow in the comics is she basically takes over for the Green Arrow.
Oh, does she?
When Oliver goes missing again, he goes back to the island.
Oh, does he?
She takes over the city. And
So...
not like that. She doesn't. Oh, this is mine. No, she takes over for the vigilante.
Like what Roz is doing right now. He's coming up with the League of Assassins, which we've been saying this entire season. He's been building up to.
What they should do is just have Roy now dress in green, and then have Diggle in his outfit, and then bring in Shadow as the other Green Arrow, and then just have all these Green Arrows just running around.
So next week is the Suicide Squad episode, which I'm really looking forward to. We got Cupid, Deadshot. They might bring in Deathstroke, which I'm really hoping for.
Bronze Tiger will not be in it. He died in the comics.
Did he?
Yeah.
They killed him off?
Yeah, in the comics.
God damn it, he was great.
It was like Arrow.
He played in Dark Knight. He played Gambit.
What?
He played, not the actual superhero Gambit, but the guy that, when he first says, "Why are you so serious?" With the knife. When he makes his two cronies fight for them. Yeah, that was awesome. So yeah, that was Arrow. We're going to get our Suicide Squad sequel episode?
Yeah.
This is the second episode? Actually, third. They've had 3 episodes. They've had the one in the first season. It was just him and Deadshot. It was him.
I don't consider that a Suicide Squad.
Okay, so this, and then they had Harley Quinn kind of in it. Which, if they ever bring Harley Quinn, Tara Strong should play.
Oh my God! Please, Tara Strong, love me.
So that was Arrow. It was a really good episode. You didn't like it as much as I did, but I can't wait till next week.
Well, yeah, next week's the Suicide Squad episode,
and let's talk about
love them.
Let's talk. That's a great. I love. It's. I don't know if it's the movie's gonna be better.
I hope
Probably
so.
will be. But the Suicide Squad TV episodes are great.
But let's
talk about to the final show of the week.
The Walking Dead.
Yes.
All right.
Let's talk about
Walking
another fantastic Walking
Once again,
Dead episode.
everyone's dead.
This season, I think, is my favorite season that they've had in this entire show. It hasn't been slow, even though there's been episodes where it's been kind of building up episodes.
Those episodes have been on point.
Even this whole Alexandria arc has been eventful.
Phenomenal.
It's going where the comics have gone, and this episode had one of the pivotal Alexandria scenes in the comics, which happens at the end. And it blew my mind because I forgot it happened in the episode.
I say we talk about Sasha first because she's
taking the role of Andrea in this season, which I like.
Sasha.
Do you think her and Rick are going to get together then?
Michonne or
No,
Sasha?
Sasha. And
Oh
Michonne.
God, I hope not.
Yeah,
I hope they
right.
just kill Sasha.
I think they're leading to that next week.
I hope so.
I think there's going to be a lot of death.
Hey,
next
where's
week.
Sasha? Oh well, she decided to go out in the woods again and hunt walkers.
I think you're right, by the way, about next week's episode about what happens to Carl.
Coral.
What happens in the comic books? That's what's going to happen because I don't think there's too much to go by for Negan to come in yet.
Yeah.
Which I think you're right. It'll happen next season, which should be great.
Oh yeah.
But they haven't casted him yet, which maybe they're keeping it under
Maybe
wraps.
they did.
Oh, maybe they did. We're all looking forward to it.
But
so Sasha is basically still dealing with
she's fucking crazy.
everything, and she's
crazy.
She's hunting walkers.
Yeah,
at this
she's
point.
going out and Michonne and
Rosita. Susie Crabgrass.
Rosita.
No, it's Susie Crabgrass.
Rosita. I like mine better.
Rosita.
No, you have to roll your tongue.
I can't roll.
Rosita.
I'm Spanish. I should be able to roll.
Yeah,
my tongue.
really.
It's sad.
So they all go out and both of them go out looking for Michonne, and they find all these walkers with bolts in the back of their holes in the back.
She's
of their
become a really good shot, Sasha. Though
She's Andrea.
I was like, holy
She's like, hey,
shit.
what's up? Pew,
So
pew.
no, then probably she's not dying next week.
I hope
she has to last because Andrea lasts a lot. Is she still alive in the comic books?
Yes.
Is she?
Yeah.
I haven't caught up yet. I have to catch up.
So basically, she's gone crazy, and then they finally meet up with her, and there's a boatload of walkers.
Yeah.
And she goes, she was like, I don't need your help, I can do this, and she's gunning them down left and right, and then Michonne's having flashbacks to when she...
That scene is
That was awesome.
so good. As Sasha's shooting, you hear the blade go, and I'm like, oh my god,
it's flashback to all the times, and then the best part was they show her
intro,
the beginning.
Oh my
with
god,
the two
I still
walkers
think
in the hood.
she has the best intro so far in
yeah.
the show, and until Negan comes in, obviously.
But then So Michonne jumps in and starts helping, and Sasha turns and goes, "I didn't ask for your help." And she goes, "This isn't for you."
She starts, and then they get rid of the walkers, and Sasha gets knocked down. I'm thinking she's gonna get killed at this point.
And then Michonne kills it.
And she gets up and she starts crying, and she's like...
And she looks at them and she says, "I told Noah he wasn't gonna make it."
So she's dealing with all this
She's got her brother who just died.
God. Bob. Still dealing with Bob's death.
Father Gabriel's a dick.
Which we'll get to in this episode because there's a lot of people dickish in this episode.
Oh my gosh.
We also deal
Pete!
with... And Nicholas. We also deal with the ramifications of Nicholas.
I forgot about that.
So they show this beautiful... side-by-side shot, not side-by-side, but they show Glenn's point of view and Nicholas's point of view.
And Nicholas is lying.
Nicholas is the only one being taped, too, because Glenn is keeping this under wraps because he believes so much in this community. He wants to stay here. So he's only telling Rick, and I think Rick is the only one that knows now about it. So Nicholas is basically telling, he tried to kill me, they left, whatever her other son's name is, Aiden. And Glenn is like crying. He's like, I could have saved him.
Well, there was one of the things he says is Nicholas is going off and he's talking about the walker and the armor. And he goes, Glenn distracted him. And then it cuts to Glenn and Glenn says, "I saw the grenades. I tried to stop him."
And he didn't.
And then it goes back to Nicholas and it's him talking and the mom goes, "Did you, were you just going to leave Tara there?" And he goes, "No, we were going to save her." And that's a lie. He was, and then it cuts back to Glenn, and he's like, "Yeah, he was about to leave her." And then it cuts back to Nicholas, and he's talking about the thing with Noah.
Yeah.
And he goes, he told me to hold on the door.
He kept pushing the
and
door.
He was trying to open. He was banging on the window, trying to open it so that I couldn't leave. So incidentally, I found my way out, and it just so happened that Noah had to suffer the repercussions. And you could just see that this had a toll on Glenn. And
Glenn's like almost in tears at this point.
Yeah.
But Glenn had really good scenes in this episode when he's talking to Nicholas.
When he almost beat the crap out of him.
No, he doesn't. He's
well, yeah, and he goes, "Is that a threat?" And he goes, "No, it's a warning."
No, he's like, "I'm keeping you safe." Basically.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, Glenn's a beast. That's gonna be awesome,
God.
and it's gonna be terrible when you die." Let's talk about Carl's little part in this episode. He follows Enid again. They go running off into the forest.
Ugly name.
They're good for each other. She's taking over.
That name is ugly.
This is an ugly name. Doesn't mean she's pretty.
Enid.
She's a little pretty girl.
Enid.
Yeah. So they go. She's like, I don't want to forget.
How do fat people?
Fat people don't survive in the
I'm sorry.
I'm not going to survive in the zombie apocalypse. What if I make it the longest in the zombie apocalypse just to prove everybody?
I'm the last alive.
Oh, okay.
What was my winning?
So they go running in the forest and they have a heart-to-heart. They're like, I don't want to lose this. And Carl tell a bit about running through the forest.
Yeah.
And Carl's basically like, I have dreams about this. I'm not going to forget it. The walkers come. She throws a timer at one.
That was really creative.
And then they hide in a tree branch.
I was waiting for them to make out.
I'm like,
as weird as it sounds.
Because she tells him she's scared of him, and then he touches her arm and he looks away. She's like, "Oh, so you're scared of me too?"
So then she leans in and whispers, and she goes, "I know you're scared of me too."
Oh, and I'm like, "This is weird." Okay,
to, like bone in the tree.
I'm like, that is really not a safe hiding place.
It was actually.
No, because if the walkers just look the other way, they have no way of getting out.
They're stupid.
They're very stupid. So that was a little part. Carol is
making casseroles.
So Deanna's dealing with the death of
Carol's
Eden.
casseroles. Now for sale at your local Walmart.
In the beginning of the episode, they're listening to a Nine Inch Nails song called "Somewhat I forget the name. God damn it! I just told you the
Distant.
Name. Somewhat Distant. Or
Somewhat Damaged.
Somewhat Damaged. There we go.
I get it.
You got it. And Donnie didn't like the song, but it plays throughout this episode.
It sounded like his music that he was blaring when they first left.
What's Deanna's husband's name? Do you remember? I'm gonna call him Douglas.
I was just about to say
Douglas he's crying because he's like, just turn it off. I don't need to listen to this anymore. So
and then you hear a ring at the doorbell.
Yeah. So Carol leaves him a casserole. Rick is dealing with.
Well, she takes the note and it says, "We're very sorry for your loss,"
and she burns it.
And then she leaves the casserole.
And I'm like, who's gonna eat that casserole?
That looked like a really good casserole.
What was it, like ham and like?
I don't care. It looked really good.
So Rick is outside traveling through the town. And you see him by the lake, and he's holding onto his gun, and then you see Pete come out.
And Pete comes up, and he's like, "Hey, Rick, how's it going?" And he goes, "Walk away."
Keep walking. And you're like, holy shit, this is leading to something.
And then Pete's like, "Oh, what's wrong, buddy?" And he's like, "Walk away."
I'm like, Rick is gonna kill you, hopefully.
I was like, ooh.
So he goes up to Jessie, who's Pete's wife, and he basically confronts her about it. He's like, "I know he's hitting you. This is in the garage." And she's like, "I can deal with it by myself." And so Rick is walking through the town, and he's freaking out because he sees everybody like
they're just nonchalant.
They're not doing anything, and she tells Deanna this.
Yeah,
he goes to Deanna, and
she goes, "No, we know."
Douglas does it in the comic book too. He just avoids it. Yeah. He's like, he's our surgeon. This is also parallels to the hospital where Dawn knew the surgeon was killing people.
Well, he was raping women.
Yeah, raping, and she just let it slide. Yeah. So she's like, I'm just gonna let it slide right now. Deanna's like, I can't do anything.
She's like, he's our best surgeon.
She's like,
he's the one keeping Tara alive.
Yeah, but he says something. She says something to him. She's like, what if he doesn't like that you want to arrest him? And I'm like, are you people crazy? You made Rick the freaking sheriff of this town.
I'm the constable here.
In the beginning, I was like, I thought they were all like overreacting. Mm-hmm. But as the episodes have gone on, I'm like, you motherfuckers need to listen to these people. And then we get to the big climax of the episode where they go to the house, and Jesse's like, would you do this for anybody else?
Well, no. Before that, he's talking to Jesse, and he's trying to persuade her, and she's like, Rick, you have to go. And he starts to walk out, and he turns around, and he goes, what's her son's name?
Sam.
He goes, Sam wanted a gun.
To protect you.
To protect you. And she's like, what?
And she starts crying.
Yeah, and it's very emotional.
You're like, holy shit, what is going on?
And then I want to reenact this scene for a moment.
Okay.
Because they're talking.
Am I Jesse?
You're Jesse. And all you see is just... Hey, Rick. What are you doing here?
Oh, you're Pete. I didn't know you were going to be Pete.
It was so freaky.
And
the room's dark, too. And he's like, what are you doing here, Pete?
Before that happens, Rick tells her, you need to leave. He needs to get out. And she's like, would you do this for anybody else? And I'm thinking because Rick's a good guy, Rick's like, yeah, I do it for everybody. He's like, no, you're the only person I do it for.
And she's like, okay.
She's like, I'm married. I can't be doing this before this all happens.
Well, yeah.
And
so then Pete
comes
gets
in,
home.
And finally, I'm like waiting for Jessie to stand up for herself. And she does. She's like, you need to leave, Pete. And he's like, no, he needs to leave. And she's like, no, Pete, you need to leave.
And then he
snaps at her.
Face drops.
I'm like, oh, something's about to happen.
And he goes, shut up, you have no room to talk. And she's like...
Rick's like, you are leaving with me right now.
He goes, come on, Pete, we gotta go.
He's calm right now.
You're getting out.
And you're like, Rick's about to go off on this dude.
And then he basically goes after him, and they start fighting, and then they go through the window, which was a scene from the comics.
Yeah, it was. This entire point was in the comics.
So then they're basically fighting back and forth, and then Jesse goes to stop Pete
from hitting
him.
And
he shoves her away.
So I'm like, oh, Rick's about to beat his ass.
So
and
Rick
Coral comes up. And
Coral comes up.
And he punches him.
Well, no, he doesn't punch me. He does one of them.
And everybody's running. And Sasha's in
They're all watching it.
Sasha's in like the watchtower. This is from the scene from last week. I didn't understand what was happening when she's pointing at everybody.
People running, and
I'm like,
then it just cuts to Sasha, and she's like, oh, okay.
And then they all run. They see them fighting. And this is a big part from the comics. And
Deanna's telling them to stop. And then he has a speech, and he just basically says, like, you guys need to stop pretending like everything's gonna be okay. Everything's not okay. This isn't the world we live in. If you
don't fight, you die.
Yeah.
And Rick's like, you're living in a fantasy world. You're gonna kick...
Some of these people need to leave.
And
Deanna looks at him, and he goes, me?
No, Deanna says, she's like, you're right.
You're right. Some people do.
This has never been more clear to me. And he's like, "You're gonna kick out me?" And he puts the gun at her. My favorite scene in the entire show.
It was just great because he's like, "You're gonna make me leave."
Andrew Lincoln had my favorite.
Mind you, he's covered in blood,
and he's going crazy. You think he's crazy at this point? In the comics, I think he did this perfectly. He acted the scene out. So I'm like, I forgot this happened in the comics too. So you're like, he's going off with him. He's like, we need.
He's in the middle of his speech, and out of nowhere,
Michonne comes out. Boom!
Michonne wails him in the side of the head and knocks him out, and then just stands there staring at him. And then they just pan away.
One of the best scenes in the comics that ever happened. I forgot that it was.
Even though this episode, Daryl. We didn't even talk about that.
Well, we got too into this part.
But even I feel like this episode was slower compared to the last ones. But even so, it had so
It's kind of like
much.
the Flash episode of this week's Flash, where it was building up to the ending of this episode.
But I still feel like this episode had stuff in it where you don't agree, where we both don't agree, where it was built up in the Flash.
Yeah.
But this one had a lot
going on in the episode. I liked it a lot.
But then Daryl and Aaron
are going on their adventures.
Their first expedition.
On adventures, Daryl and Aaron. So
Daryl and Aaron, one's a redneck,
like in the mid-season premiere, you see body parts cut up, and they see it. They're like,
they've seen it several times.
And Aaron asks him, "Is this recent?" And he's like, "Yeah, this is recent." And they go off more, and they see a woman tied up, like Carol described that was going to happen to Sam if she fucked with him. If he fucked with her.
I forgot about that.
And you see, and Aaron's like, is this recent too?
And Daryl lifts up her head and she changed. Well, she's ripped open. She was just eaten by walkers.
And she's got the W.
And she's got the W, and then she's just starting to change. And Daryl stabs her and goes, "Yeah, this is recent." And then that's where they ended that. But that's setting up huge.
So let's have prediction time for season finale.
I don't.
What do you
want
think is going to happen? I'm going to just talk about it. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, no, because it's a huge part in the comics, and if it doesn't happen, then it spoils a lot.
Spoilers now. If you do not want to know what we think is going to happen in the comic books, I want to talk about it because we won't be able to tell if we're right next week if we do. Come on,
who cares?
We'll talk about it. Spoilers.
No, we're not talking about it. This is where the episode ends. We'll discuss it on the 90
Negan's coming out tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Wow. Well, that's weird.
Coming out.
I want the world to... Could you imagine if that's what he came out to?
I'm gonna kill Glenn so.
Like he just like does a spin with his foot and he's just like...
Negan would do that. Seriously.
He does the Star-Lord dance from Guardians.
Oh,
he's like, come on, bro. Dance back.
Alright, we'll discuss it next week on the 90-minute season finale. Set your DVRs.
Not our 90-minute season.
Oh, no. Well, we're gonna have a big season finale for this show.
Probably.
In May.
Yeah.
May's our last couple episodes.
But
so
thank you guys for watching.
Look forward to next week's episode of The Walking Dead, which is the last episode of the season. Hopefully it's good. Season finales are usually good. And
next week's my birthday too.
His birthday happens on the season finale.
Happy birthday in the comments. Thank
you. And as always, like,
comment,
and subscribe.
And like I always say, I love you.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.